Hey guys, and welcome back with another highly requested video of ASAP Psychology. Today we'll be continuing on with our series on the brain with two very important areas in speech and comprehension, the Wernicke's and Broca's areas of the brain. Starting off with location, both the Wernicke's and Broca's areas are found in the left hemisphere of the brain in the temporal lobe. Broca's area was first discovered in 1861 by a French neurosurgeon named Paul Broca, who studied a patient named Tan. Tan got his name because the only word he could ever respond with to anything that was asked of him was Tan. When Tan died, his brain was autopsied, and a large lesion was found on the border of his frontal and temporal lobe in the left hemisphere. This was believed to cause his limited speech. Today we know the Broca's area's important involvement in language processing, specifically in what we can say or our language outputs. Or in other words, our speech. Without Broca's area, it would be very similar to Tan, and we'd be able to understand what is spoken to us but have a very limited response in return. Damage and trauma to Broca's area is believed to cause muteness or an inability to talk. Wernicke's area was discovered 10 years later in 1871 by a neurosurgeon, Carl Wernicke, who observed people who could speak but without any coherency or sense. Wernicke's observations not only confirmed the existence of an area of the brain that controlled speech output, but also a connection between Broca's area and this new area he discovered. This connection is a bundle of nerve fibers that was later called the arcuate fasciculus. Similar to Broca's area, Wernicke's also dealt with language processing, but specifically language inputs. Wernicke's area helps us comprehend what we read and hear so it makes sense to us. To sum up the two areas, Wernicke's is in charge of comprehending what you hear and read. This area also allows you to speak words that actually make sense, while Broca's area gives you the capability to form and produce those words. Another important component of language processing is the angular gyrus. The angular gyrus is often categorized with the supramarginal gyrus. Both deal with grammatical word processing. The supramarginal gyrus is involved in phonical processing, while the angular gyrus deals with semantic processing of words. Two major disorders that are affiliated with Broca's and Wernicke's areas are receptive or Wernicke's aphasia and Broca's aphasia. In Wernicke's aphasia, the subject is unable to understand language in its spoken or written form. In other words, the subject is unable to process any language inputs. In Broca's aphasia, the subject cannot speak fluently or sometimes not at all, but can understand language spoken or written to them. This is otherwise known as an inability to process language outputs. By looking at both Broca's aphasia and Wernicke's aphasia, we can just see how Broca's and Wernicke's areas work together to produce normal speech and comprehension patterns in humans. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week for a new episode of ASAP Psychology.